Don't let the EPA garnish wages. Up to now, the only federal agency that has the right to garnish wages, that is to go out and recoup money that it thinks it's owed by seizing your paycheck without a court order, is the IRS. And the EPA now wants that power as well. The EPA is increasingly levying very heavy fines, usually daily fines, sometimes as much as $100,000 a day, on anyone who they think is violating its pollution rules. It has its pollution rules move away from the classical concept of pollution that makes you sick, particulates, nitrous oxide, sulfur dioxide, and so on, and move toward carbon dioxide that doesn't make you sick. It just theoretically stimulates global climate change that theoretically is happening. These fines become more and more onerous and more, frankly, subjective in terms of the way the EPA levies them. To give the EPA the power to go in and seize assets and garnish wages without first going through a court would be a horrible, horrible expansion of the agency's power and of the federal government's power. We've recently seen all kinds of situations, including one in Texas where a guy owned a pond, and EPA claimed that it had the right to regulate the pond. And it imposed a huge daily fine on this guy for not letting EPA regulate the pond and allowing his animals to drink from it. In fact, the pond was cleaner than it had ever been and was not a tributary of any major waterway. And eventually he won his case in court. But under the EPA rules, it never would have gone to court. The EPA would simply have had the right to seize this. Now, the EPA is not asking for congressional approval of this right. It's not even asking for regulatory approval. It's not either submitting a bill to Congress or publishing regulations and giving a comment period. It's simply announcing that it's going to do that. And without legislation, without even a public comment period on the proposed regulation. This is absolutely awful. It is horrific. It puts the EPA police up there with the IRS. And by the way, they are just as partisan and just as susceptible to political motivation. So please take a minute after this video to sign the petition that's attached to go to your congressmen and your senators to urge them to stop the EPA from this unbelievable power grab. Thanks a lot for watching.